Hey, Nashville Dads. On November 4th from 9 a.m. to noon, you're invited to join Tennessee Titans General Manager Ryan Carthorne and former Titans place kicker Ryan Suckup for a Saturday morning your family will never forget.
It starts when you and your child experience the thrill of stepping onto the field where the Tennessee Titans play. You spend the next few hours connecting with your kids over plenty of fun, interactive family moments, plus some practical fatherhood tips you can take home and put into practice.
The All-Pro Dad experience is recommended for elementary and middle school age children. Family passes are $25, but as a Nashville Dad listener, you can save $15 by using Nashville Dads. That's just one word, Nashville Dads. Purchase your pass at allprodad.com. For this episode, we want to highlight Hi-Fi Cookies. Sean and his team use inspiration from childhood treats and a love of music to make distinct cookies and milkshakes. You can find their cookies at their East Nashville and Donaldson locations. Follow them on Instagram at Hi-Fi Cookies. Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week we have on musician Todd Ferrell. We talk about pretty much everything, including baseball, music, having kids during COVID, watching your kids form their own identity, and Disney. We hope you enjoy. But anyway, before I turn down the microphone, you're about to tell a story about Nectar Cantina.
Yes.
Which, as a person with 3 kids, I've also discovered Nectar Cantina recently and been like, oh, this is great to have kids at. This is fantastic.
Man,
That back area.
Nectar is, it's the greatest thing. We go too many times. We go like, if it's been one of those weeks where we're like, what are we gonna do for dinner?
Yeah.
We're like, damn, let's just go to Nectar.
Let's just do it.
Do you live in the Donaldson area? Or?
No, but we live in the like Woodbine area, so we're relatively close.
Yeah, not too far.
And but it's the kind of place where you like, as a dad or as a parent, you are like, man, this is perfect because I would come here without kids.
Yeah.
But I can come here with kids, and there's no one's batting an eye. I'm not worried about how they're behaving. Like I'm always looking over my shoulder to make sure they're not like at somebody else's table. But otherwise, yeah. So I don't know if you're recording. The big shout outs to Nectar Cantina because
this is how we get their sponsorship.
Yeah,
I know. Listen, Nectar, I come to your place at least maybe once a week, sometimes twice if it's been one of those weeks. I imagine this upcoming week is going to be a week that we're going to be there. So
we went once and it rained. Like it started raining the second we got there, and I was like, we can't go in the back now because it's lightning.
We still hang in there.
Do you really?
Yeah. One time, my son, he's 3, and they were playing, and he's like sprinting, like it starts raining, and all the kids are sprinting under the tent, and he's 3. You know, he's like can't run very fast yet. To be fair, he's a very fast 3-year-old, but he can't. So I like sprinted out there, picked him up, and got him.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I got like a round of applause from everybody in there. Yeah, but that place is so good, and like the food is actually good.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
That's one of my wife's favorite places.
Really?
And we started a tradition of we go to Nectar, and then we go to JVI Secret Gardens to pick up a Christmas tree.
Oh yeah,
Every December.
Nice. That's a good tradition.
Yeah,
it's pretty cute.
I like it. But yeah, good food, really good food, and that back area is awesome.
It's so good. Yeah, the shit like it's fenced in. I'm not worried that they're gonna escape, and especially like they're older now. They're 5 and 3, but when we first started going there, they were young kids.
Yep.
I mean, they're young kids now,
but the difference between
they were like
a 2-year-old
toddlers
and a 3-year-old is very
like
different.
I could be okay with when my oldest was 3 and the youngest was like barely walking. I'm okay with their like kind of venturing out there, and I'm sitting having a beer at the table. I'm not worried about that at that place. So it's so good.
We spent the whole month of June in Denver, and Denver has like multiple restaurants that are like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, we built a brewery, and right next to it is a massive playground.
Yep.
And by the way, it's open air seating. So you just sit there and watch your kids play and eat dinner.
It's smart.
I would not be surprised if more places start to do that in Nashville.
Well, Austin does that a lot too.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yazoo's pretty good.
Okay.
It's in Madison now.
Yeah.
We went up there. We had a lot of friends on the east side, and so we went up there and met some friends who also have kids. And there's not like a fence per se, but there is a big field that's next to picnic tables and things, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And I think as far as the local breweries, I think Yazoo has
They're like the OG.
They're the OG, and they probably have the best of the beers, in my opinion. But
yeah.
More of a Black Abbey fan, personally.
You know what?
We live like a mile away.
I do
from
love Black Abbey though.
And we had Carl and Isaiah, like the two main guys from it, on the podcast.
Yeah,
and they're super nice.
Well,
and fun.
Black, like it's in our neighborhood, so it's a good hang.
It is.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never had a beer from Black Abbey.
Well, now that you're in recovery, it's probably good.
But Yazoo was really good.
It's Justin. I feel like you were the type of, like, you weren't technically an alcoholic. You just knew you didn't know how to drink one beer type
Correct.
of alcoholic. So
yep, consumption. I have a problem with that. Chocoholic as well.
Honestly, I will eat all of this. If it's like if I start into it.
Yep.
I'll go for it.
I mean,
I stole a piece from you. I'm sorry.
Do it.
There's always taxes on the baked goods. So, I mean, did you tell Vicky you were bringing any of it home? That's really the main test.
I don't know if we even
keep it in
we
your
didn't
car.
even discuss. I mean, she's gonna find out, and whatever.
This will be like in a month that it gets released, so you have time to like.
You didn't bring home the cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't think we even discussed the baked goods part.
Okay.
It's funny though. She was like a follower and a fan before I even knew you guys were doing this.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, cool.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Which is cool. So I was telling her, I was like, yeah, my friend Devin does this Nashville Dads pot. Like, I'd like coming in, like I'm a pro and I know everything about everything. She's like, and yeah, they do this really cool thing. And she's like, yeah, I know what it is, Todd. But with Nectar, so I ran into Jerry at Nectar.
Yes.
And it was right after we had talked, and it was right after I had listened to the episode with Jerry.
Yeah.
And we had the same conversation because in his band Mr. Steve was playing that night. You know, Tuesday nights, kids' night, Mr. Steve night. And my buddy Mojo's playing drums, and they're like, Mr. Steve's got a ringer band, you know, for Tuesday nights at Nectar. And Mojo's got kids.
Okay.
And Jerry's there with his kids, and everybody's kind of there with kids. And these are some folks I hadn't like reconnected with in a while, since like really doing a lot of more music stuff. And I knew them through like live music and like being out and, you know, like 4 beers in and doing the late night thing.
Yeah.
And we're all like standing around there, like with our kids playing in the yard. Like things have changed, right?
Yep.
But
welcome to fatherhood.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think in that episode with Jerry, we also discussed like, most of music life is later nights, or like you might not go on until like 10 or 11 p.m. And then your kids are still going to wake up at 6 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Like no matter what.
It doesn't go and I don't know. That's like the thing that I'm kind of trying to navigate now in my dad journey or whatever.
Fatherhood journey.
Yeah.
What's the most like gives you the most credit sounding wording for it? You know, like
in my fatherhood quest.
Yes,
there you go.
Like what would it be called if it was a Skyrim objective? Is what
basically, it's a side mission on some type of RPG somewhere. Yeah.
But like, so I was doing music I was touring. We playing 200 shows a year, and then Vicky and I got married in 2016. Actually, 7 years ago today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, happy anniversary. I saw on your Instagram.
When I asked you to be on, I didn't realize it was your wedding anniversary. So thank you, Vicky.
I'm surprised she let you.
We celebrated last weekend.
Cool.
Okay.
Today we just survived. It was it was one of those like Sundays where the kids are just like nuts, you know. So we had a survival Sunday for our anniversary.
That's realistic.
Yeah. That's how that's real.
Yeah.
But like music wise, so we got married, and then kind of a year into that, I was like, I don't know, like I really want kids.
Yeah.
That was a thing that I always really wanted. And I had toured with a lot of people with kids that, you know, we're doing a lot of FaceTiming from the road and doing a lot of missing birthdays and things like that. And I was like, I love playing music. I love doing this. This is everything I've wanted to do since I was 8 years old, you know. But I also really want to be a dad. And I don't want to be that dad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't think I have won the like attention to be able to do both that extreme.
Yeah. You want to be present with.
I very much want to be present with my kids in everything, but that also includes physically being being there. And so I kind of got off the road in 2017, 18, and got like normie music business desk job, and still have been, I'll pop out and do a tour here and there, but it's never, I'm not out for 6 weeks anymore. I'm doing like a long weekend or maybe a week and a half at most, which is great for me. Like I like that amount of time. It's like, it scratches the itch for me. And I also, get to be with my kids and do the cool things. But COVID hit, and we had our second right at COVID. And I kind of going through that. I don't know if I'm ever going to play music again. I don't know if anyone's ever going to play music again. There was a really real thing of like...
Unless it's from your couch on a live stream.
Yeah. And I did a little bit of that too.
Yeah,
and
I thought you did. Yeah.
I didn't love it.
No. It's like, hey, all right, I'm assuming you guys liked it because none of you all haven't left the chat yet.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I guess has to be a really weird feeling.
Well, you finish a song and you're like, thanks, I think.
Yeah. Normally there's an immediate reaction where I can tell what the vibe is.
Yeah.
And now there's nothing.
Yeah. And so you're in between song banter. You have nothing to go on. You're just, it's like being a stand-up comedian, but having a just dead silent room.
Yep.
And I guess I'm just going to keep playing, y'all.
Yep.
Yep. But coming out of COVID and coming into, my kids being not babies anymore. My oldest just started kindergarten. And I've kind of got a little bit of the itch to play more. But of course, this is how it always goes. Like, I'm getting better calls now than I was when I was like completely available.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take me for 3 years somewhere. That's great. And, but like, I'm finding myself, and it's the thing I'm realizing about myself. Like, I'm turning down things that would have been these like things that really
dream
would have been important to me.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that that like this tour is when my kid turns 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to go.
Shows what your values are.
Yeah. I hope I'm doing the right thing,
Yeah, right.
You are, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch Dane is a record producer. He does Sputnik Sound over in Berry Hill. And he said the same thing of like, at some point in time, I realized I had to start saying no to people, or I wasn't going to be a good dad. I wasn't going to be present for anything.
It's exactly
his name came to my mind.
He had the exact same reaction. We're like, well, good for you for like standing up for yourself. He's like, hopefully.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I hope so.
I hope so. I mean, I think in the long run, whether my kids even remember their third birthday and me being there or not or whatever, but I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to always maybe even hold myself accountable to those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that was a big realization in my dadhood of like, I was, you become a dad and you're doing the dad thing and you're changing the diapers, and at first it's very much like you're running and you're catching your breath at every moment you can, and there's not a lot of them. And then coming out of this end of it, you kind of like, when you haven't stopped to like actually take a breath of it, it's like, oh, actually, no, hell yeah, I'm a dad.
Even if it hadn't been a pandemic, like the first 2 years of having a kid are very much like
yes.
I think around 2 is whenever your kid starts to even out a little bit. And then, but like up until then, like every single month, you're like, I don't know. They're screaming about this today. They're screaming about that tomorrow. I don't know. All I'm trying to do is not be a jerk. And all I want to do is kind of be a jerk because I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And I want to control things, and I can't control anything.
Control is a big one too.
Yeah, just a bit.
And that's even
you got to forgive yourself though too.
You do. Yeah. You have to offer yourself a lot of grace. Or you start to realize how little of grace you offer yourself whenever you have a kid.
When you start to, just realize how like nobody has the right answer to any of this.
Nope.
And that's beyond parenting too. Like nobody really knows what they're doing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Musically, do you front a band? Are you like lead singer, lead songwriter, all that stuff?
On paper, yes.
Okay.
This is like, another COVID killed the band.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
What was the name of the band you were in?
Benchmarks was
that's it.
The band that I was mainly, and I do my own stuff.
Yeah,
too,
that's what I thought.
But like a kind of shreddy punk rock band.
Yeah.
It was very fun. we actually, Jack Whitus.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He's drummer in that band.
Okay.
But he moved to Colorado.
Okay.
During COVID.
Yeah.
So, as it goes, like COVID happens, we put a record out in 2020. I don't recommend doing that.
Wasn't a good idea.
It wasn't our best move.
No.
I think the record's fantastic, but like we didn't get to tour.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do any of the things that you normally do for a record. And it kind of like, we never broke up, but it's very much a back burner for everyone involved at this point, which I think is understandable for everybody.
Yep.
But Jack and I talk every day, and we still like send each other riffs back and forth on them.
Sweet.
So we might do something, but
yeah.
So long way to answer your question.
You're good.
Yes.
Yeah. Technically, kind of, not officially broken up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mainly like sideman for other bands
Okay.
these days, but yes.
Cool. So if someone's asking you to go on tour now, is it for you to just like play guitar, like play lead or rhythm in their band for a tour?
Typically, they're asking me to play lead guitar and like sing harmonies.
Yeah.
I recently this year started learning pedal steel.
Oh, fun.
So I do a lot of like home recording sessions for people.
Yeah.
Which actually is like the perfect thing for musician dads to do.
Yeah.
Because I just like when people go to bed, I just fire up my computer and play music. But so lately I've been getting the calls to do a little bit of pedal steel stuff too.
Fun.
But I don't think I'm good at it to be doing that. But
what is pedal steel?
It's the like lap where you like put in. It's like in the background of all like country and all country songs.
It's
cool,
very much
man.
like
It's really
heck
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, I feel like anytime I've messed with it or tried to mess with it, do you remember Wes Burkhart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would a decade ago now when I would like hang out with him. He learned it at some point in time, so I'd like sit down and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and just like slide and be like, I feel like a lot of it's vibe and feel.
There's like that we don't have to send the Nashville Dads podcast into a pedal steel rabbit hole.
I mean,
nope.
You know what? Justin's here to learn.
That's right. I have learned so much about producing and music because we've had so many musicians on, and Devin is a
and I'm
nerd.
just like intrigued. Like, tell me more about pedal steel because I can't figure it out, and it's genuinely hard to do.
Well, so there's 10 strings. It's tuned E9.
Okay.
And the top two. Any other moment I could tell you what they're tuned to, but I can't right now.
No one's gonna fact.
But that's how you're mostly creating your 9 and 7 chords.
Okay.
And then your pedals are bending the pitch of specific strings.
Oh, okay.
On those. So to make a 4 chord, if you're barring the 5th fret, that's an A.
Okay.
Which is smart because also the 5th fret on a guitar is A.
Yeah.
That's how I learned that. But if you hit your first 2 pedals, it becomes D, the 4. So the way I learned it was like, you're in you're playing A, you're 1 on the 5th fret.
Yeah.
And then 2 pedals is like playing the A string bar chord version of the 5th fret. You're playing a D.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's literally just the 2 pedals out of like the, like 7 mechanisms that are on that guitar.
Have you ever tried to play like a pipe organ before?
No.
Those are like, I feel like I've sat down on those before in old churches and just being like, I have no idea how anyone
similar
has this
thing.
much
I think like
coordination.
I don't play keys well. Like I can do chords.
I can do Death Cab for Cutie songs.
Yeah, yeah. I'll play what Sarah said, but I can't.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But I think it's the same idea where there's just like things that you like, like the pulls and it's like that. That like the meme of that guy who does like the cartoon sounds.
It's like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins with all like the music stuff.
Exactly. Pedal steel's a little bit like that, except for it's a lot more like, like you said vibey. It's either vibey or it's like honky tonk party.
Pretty much. Yes. And Hawaiian all at the same time.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about it is it's originated as like and people who listen to this that are pedal steel players are going to type and be like, this guy is wrong.
Don't worry.
But as I understand it.
But then that means someone listened.
Yes.
Yes. But so as I understand it, it's like the Spanish guitar that we know, the 6-string guitar that made its way somehow to Hawaii.
Okay.
Hawaiians took it, tuned it to an open tuning, and had a whalebone.
Really?
And did the slide thing.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That made its way back to the States, to Appalachia.
Really?
And they did basically kind of came up with the dobro or the resonator guitar. Yeah. I think dobro is actually the brand.
Was it really? I would always call it a dobro. It's like the massive like metal guitar that's like
Yeah,
really
the
clangy sounding.
resonate. It's like the acoustic guitar square neck thing with
Yeah.
like the metal top.
Yeah.
These are all like the wrong phrases. So
It's all right. You know what?
And then so that made its way to Nashville,
Okay.
to where Robert's Western World is right now.
Yeah.
That's the original Showbud Factory. This is probably I'm probably missing a lot of
We're gonna
steps here.
Wikipedia this later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually, what is this called again?
A pedal steel guitar.
Pedal steel
Pedal
guitar.
steel guitar.
But so the Gretsch guitars guy,
Yes.
so and so Gretsch, whatever his name is, he was a motorcycle mechanic.
Okay.
He's the guy that figured out. So they were doing all these different tunings, the open tunings, and they were eventually like, well, we want to use the same guitar to do the different tunings. So they made these buttons and levers to like
Yeah.
just get into a different tuning.
Okay.
And then eventually Buddy Emmons was like, well, why don't I just play it and shift the notes while I'm playing it?
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's the long roundabout
Yeah.
story of how that exists, and me trying to figure it out late at night after I put my
And
kids
you're
to
just
bed.
like, also, I hope I'm not too loud.
Yeah,
You were right, man. Spanish guitars introduced into
Yeah,
the Hawaiian
Well,
Islands.
you can't see on the episodes. Todd has the really long notes on his arm of the entire Wikipedia page.
Dude.
I'm sure you're
That's
just reading
impressive.
the exact same page that I did, you know?
Todd's the guy at a party. We're like, hey, Todd, how are you? He's like, yeah, pretty good. So about pedal steel. Did you know?
I know more about it than I am good at playing it. I wish I was just better at playing it.
I feel like
You'll get there, man.
This
You'll
is
get
your
there.
mid-30s now. We're just like, hey, what about this? I'm like, oh, I have a lot of really useless knowledge on this subject. And here we go.
Honestly, pedal steel is the most dad instrument out there because it's like only old people play it.
Yeah, that's true. There was one guy at Belmont who played it, Colifer.
Yes.
Yes, and he was an older soul.
Yeah.
So,
But I've been like thinking about it. Man, like what if I got into it back then?
Is that it?
Oh, that's me.
yeah.
That's me running scales and not being very good. So the other thing is weird is like it's a bar. So like when you're playing guitar, you can mute strings with your left hand. You can't do that because that's a bar.
Oh.
So you have to. It's called pick blocking. So you have to pluck and stop the string with the same
Yeah.
motion, that's what
I'm
makes
good.
it really hard.
I'm good. I can't do any of that.
Dude, that's impressive, man.
Can you learn theremin after this?
I wish that would be awesome.
Theremin is it emits electrical waves and you control it with your hands. So like
What?
it bounces, it hits you and then it bounces back. And what like bounces back is what it is. So you like hold one hand up to get the pitch and then like you do your other hand to like do like the
Yeah, the
like vibrato ghost
Dude.
notes.
so like it's like
Who
That's
is
your next step.
Scooby-Doo.
incredibly high to think of that.
it's the
It's in some
Scooby Doo
Beach Boy
instrument.
songs. It's like it's very Scooby Dooey and
That-
Beach
Oh yeah, good
Boys.
vibrations.
Good vibrations. On
Oh,
there,
that's
500
it?
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, in the background of good vibrations.
Ah.
But it's most known for Scooby Doo and
Yeah.
like Ghost.
Pretty much, it's just ghost noises.
Yeah.
I think-
all right, I'm gonna have to.
When we went to Belmont, people would just come back in the dorms and be like, "Hey, I got a theremin today," and you're like, "Cool, I'll come
Yeah.
over. Let's just do this
Especially
for an afternoon."
Freshman year, there was this certainly this time period where it was really cool. Everybody's super stoked and being really creative
Yeah.
and they're kind of on their own for the first time and really, and then like, why did you buy a theremin? Because I wanted
Because I
to,
wanted it because I can.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you do nowadays for work? You said you do like music business, like
Yeah,
desk
I
job.
work for a PRO down on Music Row.
Okay.
It's a performance rights organization. We like represent songwriters,
Okay.
and get them paid for
Yeah.
playing live or for having their stuff played. Which is cool. Like it's something I actually used my degree that
Well, that's good.
at one point in my life was like that was a really useless thing we spent a lot of money on.
Technically a stay-at-home dad, so I'm really using my music business degree on a lot of things right now.
Well, you have to explain all these things to your children.
That's right. Whenever they're like, "Dad, I got cut out of my publishing deal," and then I can be like, "Oh, what were your points?" Come
Yeah,
on."
exactly. It's nice to kind of be able to still be in the industry and flex a little bit of that knowledge and it's also nice because like the PTO is really good and
That you have any, because whenever you toured, you didn't really get if you had PTO, you just weren't getting paid.
yeah.
So
Well, it's funny too. So when I first I got this job because I was like, well, I need health insurance and I need these things. I was on Vicky's health insurance, technically still am.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need a steady income now that I'm having kids.
pretty much.
And
The things kids do to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You grow up a lot faster than you
I
anticipated.
need
too.
good insurance.
Yeah.
my daughter was born, first kid, in June of 18, and I started at this place in February of the same year. So I was not on the PTO, or I was not there long enough to get paternity leave.
Yeah.
So I like took 5 days off work and then just went to work, and
That
it was
sucks.
a bummer.
Oh,
That is
man.
But then COVID year, I've been there for a while, and it was COVID, and everybody's working from home. It was almost like COVID was terrible. Is still. We literally got COVID 3 weeks ago.
You would have said yesterday.
I literally have COVID. No, we got
Get
COVID.
out.
We got COVID last month.
That sucks.
And it was.
It's not fun.
It's still like we had to like remember like 5 days. How do we like it? Not that you like discredit it or like think it's not a thing anymore, but like we kind of mentally have checked out of it as a culture or a population or whatever. And like we got it and was like, this sucks.
Well, we had it. Josh is my third born. We got it the same month he was born.
Wow.
And like we didn't know
That's
it.
so scary.
Well, yeah, pretty much. They could only swab they couldn't swab him, so we actually don't know if he technically had COVID or not.
Yeah.
But all four of the 5 had it, so we're assuming that. But like, yeah, we're sitting there like, okay, cool. So like, we only know we had it because someone came and visited and then went home and tested positive, and then we're like, well, I guess we should get tested also.
Yeah.
And we all tested positive, but we're like, cool. My sense of smell kind of sucks. Like that's about it. But like no one had a fever, no one had stomach issues.
Sure.
So we're just sitting there and we're like, then you start like, go to the CDC's website and you're like, okay, when was your first day of symptoms? All right. I don't know because I'm exhausted constantly because we have a newborn. So if you're asking me when was
and you haven't
first,
slept. So what are the symptoms of not sleeping?
Yeah. So when was the first day I noticed I didn't have smell? Okay. Well, it's been because it's been 3 weeks since that happened. So am I still contagious or not? Because like, regardless of like, how am I dealing with COVID? My then concern came to be like, cool, am I going to infect people?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to pass this on? I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And based on the guidelines, we had already gone outside of our window of when we were contagious, but didn't know we had it until like after the window was over.
Right.
And you can still test positive, even if you technically don't have it. And you're sitting there and you're like, do I send my kid to school or not?
Yeah.
Like Metro told me it was okay, so I'm going to send him to school, but I don't want to be the one who causes a COVID outbreak at my kid's school. And I don't know what to do with this. So yeah,
you don't want to be that guy.
Not so much.
And not even like the status of that guy, but you don't want to be the one that like brought this on. You put everybody in the situation you were just in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not looking to kill anyone's grandparents.
Yeah.
Also.
No, exactly.
It's crazy how it like hit you to where you didn't even really know.
I didn't even know I had it. And then other people die.
And I have still not had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had it 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
24 hours ago.
We I had it today. And that was the first time technically I had tested positive in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But in, Christmas time of 2020, my wife and daughter had it.
Yeah.
My son and I did not.
Yeah.
Technically. But we were both sick.
Yeah.
So technically, that was the first time testing positive was just now.
Yeah.
But
you probably
we definitely had it.
But also, like, whenever you have little kids, you're just constantly tired and a little sick.
Yes.
Like, at all times. So it's like, what are the symptoms of COVID? Well, you're a little mucusy and you have a headache. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am. And it's hard to do, especially like our kids were in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Our kid, like during COVID, our kids are in daycare. And as daycare opened back up, like, okay, we're setting them in daycare again. And then they come home a little sick. And you're like, now is it COVID or is it just the thing that happens to every single kid and that they get a little sick?
Yep. All the respiratory viruses that are out there, you're probably going to get within the first two years at some point.
I remember I'd forgotten that since, because I think it was last Christmas time, whenever like RSV, flu, and everything was like rampant, And like, I think my kid had like a teething headache or fever or something like that. So like, cool, I'm just going to go buy some ibuprofen. Went to Kroger. Oh, there's none.
Yeah.
Oh, there's none. Then I went to Walgreens. They're like, oh, there's none. And then I Google and it's like, oh, by the way, there's a shortage on all like all of the anti-pain meds. And I'm like,
and baby formula.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my kid can't eat.
Yeah.
Nor can they have medicine.
Justin dealt with that a lot.
Did you formula feed or breastfeed?
We went to formula pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, how easy was it for you guys
to find formula
for your? I'm guessing.
For our
second.
son. We also, I maybe to our credit, we had some left over, and we had like breast milk left over.
Okay.
From our first, so we had a freezer full of stuff.
That's very lucky.
But it got to the point, like especially I think that summer when things were getting pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Where I would go, go to the East Thompson Kroger and be like, "There's nothing."
Yeah. Nothing, man. Dude,
it was. Yeah.
We have kids about the same age. His third, my first, and we formula fed. So she was born in September of 2021. Nothing, man. It was so hard. I went to so many Kroger's, Publix. We got formula from my parents in Knoxville.
Wow.
Formula from her parents in Paducah. Formula from where I'm originally from, up in Northern Kentucky. Like, we just, wherever we could find it, because Nashville was dry.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to explain to my kids the weird moments of talking to the people who worked at Family Dollar to figure out when their toilet paper deliveries were, so I could just get one thing of toilet paper to be guaranteed we could have toilet paper at our house.
How crazy was that?
Yeah, just be like, hey, do you guys do deliveries on Monday? And they're like, yeah, they deliver on Monday. Cool. So
see ya then.
Then like I'll be back then. What's the limit I can buy? Because I want to like follow your rules. Because this is a crap show for all of us.
There's so many things that I think about, like in having to explain these things when the kids get older. Like, do you remember? So, our son was born March 2020.
Oh,
oh man,
starting off strong.
We went into the hospital, and things were like, things might get weird. We're not really sure. And then we left the hospital. I had to like get temperature checked to change floors. And this is before that was a normal thing. Yep. So it was terrifying. Yeah. Nobody was allowed in with us. So it was.
Did you have to wear a mask, or was that even before we knew masking was a thing?
Pre-mask.
Yeah. Which is also actually, I think, almost more terrifying. Because it's like, this thing might kill you and your kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, thanks, guys.
And then they sent us home, like pretty early.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're expecting to fill these beds.
Yeah.
And so we get home with an infant at grounds day one of COVID.
So like right before March Madness shut down.
Yeah.
You guys are like coming home with a baby.
Yeah. It was after tornado. And weirdly enough, of course, I was like on tour for a weekend run that tornado weekend there's tornado weekend after tornado. And then like that next weekend, I literally get home and then we go to the hospital.
Okay.
Because Vicky was like, "You might never play music again. You need to go take these shows."
Okay.
But we didn't. It was supposed to be band shows, and it was just me because our drummer was like literally locked in his house because a tree was in the driveway. Like everything was okay, but it was like he could leave. He could not get his car out, and he couldn't get his drum set out. He couldn't. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna play these
do some
solo
gigs,
and do the
Todd on the side.
Todd on the side. But the wild thing that I was trying to get to this point, I didn't get there. But the coming home from the hospital, there's all these things that I need to like remember and explain to my kids like how this was. I remember coming home from the grocery store the first time, and I remember Cloroxing our grocery bags.
Yeah.
And putting like produce in the sink and like kind of doing a wash thing on it and all this stuff. And like, how do I explain this?
Yeah.
It's just such a surreal, very specific moment in our history as a human civilization. I hope that it never happens that way again.
It's never repeated.
God knows what the next thing is going to be, but
but like leaving groceries that aren't perishable outside for 4 to 8 hours.
Yes,
because you're assuming that then any disease or virus that's on it will be
kill
dead
off
by then. and you're sitting there and you're like, cool, by the way, don't touch like, at that point in time, I think Magnolia would have been 2 and Holly would have been 4. So yeah, talking to a 4 and a 2-year-old being like, hey, if you see stuff on the porch, here's the reason why it's out there. Please don't touch it.
Yeah.
By the way, do you understand the words I'm saying at all?
Yeah. And then just that coupled with navigating illnesses with your children that just are kids, and kids get sick. Kids are little germ factories. And in that moment, we're living in like, you're germ factories, but the world is a germ factory. Yeah. So what's more dangerous right now? And I still don't know.
No,
so
I remember wearing
I'm gonna eat a cookie.
Mask, like the latex gloves.
Yeah.
And then having an abundance of hand sanitizer. So like whenever I'd go into the grocery store like that, I would do that with the at the gas station and everything. It's crazy. And to see some of the pictures of people just using whatever they had, like plastic bottles and all types of crazy things.
Grocery store run of COVID.
Yeah.
We didn't have masks, but masks, it was like becoming like cover your face somehow.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything except one year for Halloween in 2012 or something, I was Hulk Hogan. And I had a Hollywood Hulk Hogan bandana. So I rolled up into Kroger with a black bandana that said Hollywood across it.
Was it the Thompson Lane Kroger, though?
This one, I went there first, and they probably didn't have what I needed. But I specifically remember going into 8th Ave Kroger.
Okay. The Thompson Kroger, you would have been fine. Everyone would have been like, looks like a normal person.
That's just
That's just a Friday. That's fine.
I was literally there today.
COVID, I don't know.
But yeah, this was in 8th Ave Kroger, and I ran into my sister-in-law.
Did you really?
And she didn't have, not like she didn't have a mask, like she didn't have a mask. Like she just wasn't at that point, but she had a cart full of stuff. And she was like, Todd,
this is Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm here to do what you're doing. I don't know, man. I'm stuck. That's so wild.
Crazy times, man.
And even I haven't even thought about it. I said I need to remember these things so I can tell my kids. But even talking about it right now, I'm just like, God, that was crazy.
So much uncertainty.
It's been, for this podcast, meeting up with dads and talking, it's really interesting how people had to pivot basically once COVID happened. For a lot of people, it's when they started the business that they're now doing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think Heather and I have discussed, we probably wouldn't have had a third kid if it wasn't for COVID.
Sure.
Because it actually made us sit down and be like, are we done having kids? And I was like, are you done? I don't know. Are you done? I don't know. I think that means we won't have another kid. So there's a lot of angles to what COVID did to a lot of people. And I feel like we're only now starting to look up and be like, whoa, what was 2020 like for you?
Yeah.
You had a kid in the heart of it? All right.
There.
I think we went the opposite. I think COVID was like, I think we're probably done it too.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm out.
At the dad walk Saturday morning, almost every father had a COVID kid.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about how
the babe born in COVID or a conceived in COVID?
Probably.
Because there's a
I
slight
don't know.
difference.
Because I think there's definitely two distinct generations of that.
We're conceived in COVID. And yours was born at the beginning of COVID.
Okay. I don't know.
Just do the
But
math.
either way. But we were talking about how there's the huge generation of boomers and now it's the COVID kids.
Yeah.
There are so many of our generation that just had kids either during COVID or right before COVID.
Yep.
Well, I think Nashville, especially for years now has been a town where, younger people have been flocking to, especially in recent years is a boom town or whatever you call it. But it has been like that for at least 15 years now.
Yeah.
Because I came 15 years ago, so
it
started with me, probably.
I think we arrived at Pembroke at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's because of us that Nashville became.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's what it is.
But, a lot of our generation of people, when we were older kids, late teenagers, moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
And now is the time when everybody's kind of within the last 5 years or whatever, everybody settled down and started having kids.
Yeah.
And so that's like I think Nashville's also having a kid boom, which is also why we couldn't get baby formula, and which is also why you can't find a daycare that's like
has any opening for a year.
We still get calls from places that for our first.
Really?
Like she's 5.
Yeah.
And they were like, if she wants to come into whatever daycare we got room for now. It's like, no,
I'm good.
No, will you take my son though?
Yeah. Basically. How old is he? Ooh, nope. Sorry.
Yeah, right. But it's a crazy.
Well, I think also from my knowledge of knowing people who were on tour and did music business stuff when they got out of college, like by the time you reach 30, you also look up and you're like, how much more of this do I want to do? Like music business stuff is a young man's game. Yeah. And so like touring constantly, making your living on that. I feel like by the time you get to like early 30s, you're like, this isn't sustainable. I need to get a job so I can actually like have a real life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very true. And like I think I was 32 or 3 when I was kind of like, I don't necessarily want to be on the road my whole life.
Yeah.
And that is not to take away from people that are on the road. Like hats off, because that is awesome work and hard work.
Yep.
But I just knew personally, like I can't do the other things in my life that I want to do, like have kids.
Yep.
While doing that. But I think you're right. I think a lot of people that came to Nashville wanted to do stuff like that, and they not bailed out, but kind of pivoted.
I think most people, you get to your early 30s and you're like, all right, this is like not even just music business stuff, but like life in general. You get to your early 30s and you're like, all right, I just did my 20s. Was I successful or not? I should probably refocus my energy in a lot of different ways. Like whatever world you just built for yourself, you start to notice how bad that foundation was. I feel like when you get into your early 30s. No,
totally.
And
even and physically, I had,
that too. Yep.
I had a conversation the other day where I was like, man, I really want to buy another pair of Chuck Taylors, but I just don't think my knees can handle it.
I can't do any skater shoes. Like I love Sambas. Like indoor soccer shoes are like my favorite type of shoes. Every time I wear them for like an hour and I'm like, is my lower back just a little
man.
A little achy?
I have a pair of my old, like I'll still wear Vans, but I buy the Comfy Cush version.
Yep.
Yeah. But I still have an old pair of Vans slip-ons that are like my kind of like my house / like I need to go out into the garage for like to get something, or I need to, or like I work from home 3 days a week, so if I need to like help Vicky load the kids in the car and then I go back in the house, so I have the Vans slip-ons, but they're like old 15-year-old shoes, they don't have soles or anything. But I'll wear them occasionally to the grocery store or something if I need to like just go grab milk or something.
Yeah.
I come home and I'm like, dude, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm in pain because I wore shoes.
Pretty soon we are going to be wearing those 965 New Balance all whites.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, I'm still sticking to Hoka's and On Clouds lately.
Oh, okay.
So. I had a pair of On Clouds to like as my running shoe, and then I had a pair of Brooks as my running shoe. And those are pretty good.
Brooks Ghost specifically.
That's what I have.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while I slip those things on in public and just own it.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm on the Nike train now because they got a little bit more support.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like comfy, but I'm just like, it's like that dichotomy of like I still want to be cool, but also like everything hurts.
But also like you just have to like I've accepted a long time ago I'm not that cool.
Right,
so it's just really, when you
Devin, you are amazingly cool. What are you talking about?
I think you're cool.
I would like to think I'm cool. Let's just talk about really obscure bands that no one else listens to. Does that make you cool or elitist? I'm not sure where the line is.
You were into Lucero, I think, before I was.
I probably saw them live before you did.
Yeah.
Too,
wait,
so.
But did you see him play at Springwater?
I did not. No.
Okay.
So
I did.
Your love of Lucero is greater than mine, but I definitely saw them open for the Get Up Kids in like the early 2000s at some point.
That's
in time.
cool.
So
that's cool. I got to go on tour with them. So
I mean, you
I do have
that.
cool, but
you did. I mean, I'll be forever envious of you touring with Frank Turner. So
that was a fun one too. Yeah. But you knew these bands before I did, so you're the cool one.
That's right. Yeah. But you're the one who actually got to like have a friendship with them. So that's how you rub my face in the fact that I knew the bands before. You'd be like, yeah, you listened to that album before I knew it existed. but did you play it on stage with him the next night?
Well, I didn't play with him. I just like I was in. That's like that. My unofficial claim to fame is like I was in the guy that was in the band that opened for your favorite band.
Yeah. I am adjacent to bands you like.
That's exactly it.
Todd on the side.
Todd on the side.
Todd
That's
on the
it.
side.
That's
Dude, you could make a podcast called that.
Todd on the side.
And
Just you talking to
I tell stories.
and you talking to the other people who like made a living, but like didn't headline. You know,
Yeah.
like that weird in between.
Yeah. There's, I mean, on a
I'd listen to that.
on a semi-serious note,
Yeah.
the guys that I was in bands with, and we always have these conversations, and how like you don't make a ton of money doing that, whatever, but the currency, I guess you could say, this is my friend Micah's. He's the guy that I was in a band with. He's got a song, where the hook is, basically like the memories are the currency.
Yeah.
Like we didn't make a ton of money, but like we have really cool stories.
Yeah.
So I don't let go of that. Like I'm still proud of that, but my back hurts.
Yeah. You could do, there's a podcast called Washed Up Emo, where there's a guy who was in like that type of emo band where he wasn't like a headlining emo band, but he was an opener emo band. So you could do that for like alt country bands, basically. Where you have enough connections and you're just like, hey, this album that I toured with you on, and it was really fun. Do you want to talk about that album? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I wish they would return my call so I could just get the gig, but
I'd still be playing music with them, but that's a different story.
no, it's pretty cool. Actually, it's Americana Fest was this past week, and I actually did not do a ton. I used to be like all in there and playing a ton and just hanging out or whatever. But I had some friends in town that were playing shows. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna support them.
Yeah.
But it was fun to I go and then I ran into there's 8 people I haven't seen in years, and you end up staying out too late, and then you still got to wake up at 7 a.m.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool to see these folks.
I think even without COVID, it's really weird to run into people that you used to run into on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because the 3-year difference of the past 3 years is such a drastic 3-year difference.
It's time warp.
Yeah.
It's a very big time warp.
A life warp.
I know I've seen you at Kroger randomly, but if we hung out since 2020, probably not.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay, cool. I think before tonight or Kroger, I saw you at the zoo once when everyone had one kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's cool. That's now 7 years ago. Oh God, is that really? No.
No, but
wait, what? No. Yeah. No, it's maybe, oh my God. Yeah.
That's so real though.
Yeah.
It's such a real, the time, it feels like what's the Marvel, the snap.
The snap, yeah.
It feels like the snap.
Yeah.
Because all this happened and none of us saw
community was hard.
Community wasn't really what it could be or what it was before. And so we didn't keep up with the way that things shifted and the way that people grew and developed. And so it is you ran into someone who's damn, you got 3 kids.
Yeah, really though.
Yeah, especially at our age too.
Yes. I feel our the groups got smaller.
Yeah, your circle.
Yeah, the circle of groups got
I think
smaller.
that probably naturally happens at this age, regardless, though.
Yeah, but at least for me, COVID really did that. And it's not a knock on anybody that I don't hang out with anymore. It's just that, it was just really tough times and really hard to just navigate life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But there are a few people that I'm I haven't seen them since pre-COVID, and it's funny how you use those words pre-COVID too.
I feel like a malfunctioning robot. If I run into someone I haven't seen in a while, it's oh hey, have you had 2 kids since I saw you last? Oh my God, that's at least. Oh my God, how many years is that? Oh wait, have I really? Oh no,
we haven't talked in 7
I haven't
years.
yeah, exactly. I haven't actually sat in front of you for 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the weird reality of the moment. You know?
I think we. I'm pitching this to society. I think we collectively, as a culture, need to put away any shame or guilt. With that, because I think we all went through it.
Yeah.
And are really still going through it, especially with COVID and especially with kids. There's just, you can only do so much.
Pretty much.
And I feel half the time I'm just at the end of my day, after putting kids to bed, I'm I can't even watch TV. I can't even look at my phone.
Yeah.
Much less reestablish my relationships and work on that,
yes.
which I know is something that I would like to be better at.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just can't. Our oldest is in kindergarten now, and that's been super fun.
Yeah.
And we're in that, like, really in the beginning stages of, Lee has a best friend at school.
Yeah.
And her parents are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think we're friends with her parents. You know, like,
it's a weird,
I don't know
really
if we are, but
vibe.
I think we've established, we have, like, but we haven't navigated those relationships yet. And that's, like, kind of an exciting thing for us. 'Cause, like, we are like, especially like my circle, I think most of them have kids, but I think we have maybe the older kids of the group. So we like to do kid hangs. Our kids are running around at Nectar, and the other kids are like in the car seat at the table. And it's cool to get into a situation where our kids are running around with our friends' kids together.
Yeah.
And like, oh, is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here we are. All right.
Yeah.
This is like the next stage of life. We have established relationships with our kids' friends' parents.
Yeah. I think whenever that was a weird thing when Holly started kindergarten, it was 2021, which I'm grateful it wasn't 2020 because that meant she could actually she had to wear a mask, but it was in person for the entire year.
I can't imagine.
And like my mom was like, "Oh, did you get to drop her off at the classroom?" And I was like, "No. Whenever it's open house night, we got to walk in and see her classroom and meet her teacher. Whenever the next one is whenever we see what it's like inside of the building because it was on lockdown because it was COVID. So like it wasn't until like this last year where it's like, oh, hey, do you want to go play with these people's kids at a playground with their parents? And you're like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like this is how this is actually supposed to be. The first year was us dropping her off and her like sprinting out wearing a mask and being like, cool, have fun. Hope this is safe.
How is she adjusting to the school being a little bit more open and things like that?
As a kid, she's so funny because around us, she's a very quiet, very focused, very older child energy where she's looking for the ways to help and be helpful. And then her teacher would be like, yeah, she talks nonstop. And I'm like today, she spent most of the day, she's really good at reading. She spent most of the day reading today. Cool. While her two younger siblings sprinted around the house. Yeah. And she's like at home content just to sit there and read and hang out and be like observant and try to look for ways to help. Yeah. Like at school, no, apparently she talks constantly. Like teacher's like, hey, Holly, can you calm it down a little bit? And I'm like, what? Like, what is that? So socially, I feel like she's doing okay.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Or the teacher thinks our kid is a different kid. One of the two. So.
Man, that's fun though. It's fun to, I don't know, get a glimpse of what your kid is like, because this is very new to me. Get a glimpse of what your kid is like without you there. Terrifying sometimes, but like it's pretty cool.
It is
like,
really cool.
They're a little person.
Yeah. I
so
think Holly going to kindergarten, or our second kid Magnolia started kindergarten this year also, and it is like a weird realization of how big of a moment kindergarten actually is. Or like just sitting there and being like, oh, you're going to develop so much more. And for most of your life, I'm the one who kind of took lead on how you develop. And now I'm kind of entrusting other people to figure out how this works out.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And it's fun, scary, cool. Everyone's trying their best. And hopefully you create good community through it all.
Yeah. Something that how long's school been in? Like a month?
Oh, yeah. Like August 8th or something like that.
So even in that short amount of time, she loves art. Yeah. I always knew she loved color, but like she loves art. Yeah. And I'm like, this is so cool.
It is really cool.
You have an interest, and I want to help with this or celebrate this and probably end up getting in your way, but I want to, you know what I mean? Yes. And it's as they, develop into people, and it's just so cool.
Start to get that personality.
I think Holly has expressed interest in piano, and we have a piano at home or like an electric keyboard. But every time anyone tries to sit down and play it, every kid runs to it and just starts banging on it.
Yeah. I can't play guitar at the house because all the kids are like, "Oh, Daddy, my turn."
Yeah, and you're like, "No, I'm just But so I figured out how to talk to her and be like, hey, I bought like the stickers you put on it. So it was actually all the notes.
Cool.
And her birthday's in February. So she likes almost every Christmas carol has her name in it. So I wrote down like the notes for like really like Deck the Halls or like Twinkle Twinkle or something like that.
Of course.
And I was like, hey, here it is written here. You have about 5 minutes before everyone else.
Before your day is ruined.
Before your day is ruined, I'm going to do my best to keep everyone else out of this room.
Honestly, that's just good practice for general band practice. You have about 5 minutes before this just falls apart.
Just everything falls apart. But it's that really fun moment, though, of like, yeah, being in the next room and hearing her through the door, figure out Deck the Halls on piano or something like that.
Yeah.
Hear her mess it up, know she messed it up, and then starting back at the beginning.
That's so cool.
Again. And you're just like, this is really fun.
I asked both of you guys this. How do you, like, my kids have interests that align with mine.
Yeah.
And I remember before even having kids, I don't want to be dad that I like music and I like baseball and I like these things. I don't want to be the one that's like, my kids will like these things.
Yeah.
You know? But I've fallen into the situation where, like, they do, like, my son knows every word to The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy.
That's awesome.
And he knows the starting lineup for the Braves, and he's 3 years old.
That's awesome.
Like, embrace it, man.
I'm like, I'm gonna lean into this as long as I can.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, how do you guys think about, you know,
yeah,
what do you where's the line on, like, here's some things that I like, and also, like, what are some things that you like, and how can I you know, help celebrate those things? And they don't, and I think maybe what I'm trying to ask is where, like, convincing them that they don't have to like the things that you like.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Mine's only 2 years old, so I don't really have that experience yet.
But it's right there.
It's getting
about
there.
To happen.
Yes. But Devin might have a little bit more to say about this. But from every guest that we've talked to, they've had that same question brought up, and it is hard to not push them.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't even how to effectively say it. I don't want to, like, force them into something that they don't like just because I like it.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to think that they have to do it just because I like it.
Yep.
I try to find ways to I personally think that, like, how you interpret the world is, like, the most unique thing about, like, an existence as a person. Like, how you interpret the world, how you interpret art, how you interpret your day-to-day interactions is, like, where a lot of your personality exists.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope to give my kids opportunities to express that.
Sure.
So something like, we live really close to Phonolux.
Yeah.
And they have kids records. So, like, really old kids records, like Mary Poppins, like all those old stuff. So I'll take, like, the older ones with me, and I'll be like, hey, I'm going to go look at a record over here. Is there anything in this list of records that you are interested in and you want to get? We'll take it home and listen to it at home.
Cool.
So I'm hoping to give them opportunities to say, hey, this is something I care about. Is this a form for expression for you?
Yeah.
And then they can hopefully find, like, we have, like, there's a lot of old records that are like Cinderella, like where it's basically like a nursery rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there's old Humpty Dumptys where the guy who did the voice of Tigger does them. You know, so like there's all those old records from the 50s for like $2 or $3.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping
nice.
that, like, something like that happens. Hopefully you're sitting there playing, like, random stuff on a keyboard and your kid comes up and, like, I feel like I try to show them the basics. So I'm like, hey, look, if you put a key in between each finger and you put 3 fingers down, that's pretty much going to be a chord, except for in one spot.
Yeah, just about anywhere you go, you
don't
got it.
do B and you'll be fine. But, like, trying to be like, hey, if you're actually interested in this, here's a really easy starting block. And just being in tune with, like, what was the energy that made you care about this and made you love it, and expressing that to your kid. Because more important than if your kid likes it or not, it is an opportunity for you to express to yourself, or to your child, I mean, like, why this matters to you.
Yeah.
And hopefully that means something to them. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
The key word is opportunity. Just giving them the opportunity to experience it, and then let them realize for themselves whether or not they like it or not.
Totally.
I mean, that's, my sister has two sons, and that's basically what she's done with both boys. Tried out karate, didn't like that. Tried out baseball, soccer, tennis, lacrosse, and I mean, each boy tried every single thing except for football. She wouldn't let them do football.
That's fair.
And the oldest loves lacrosse, and then the youngest loves tennis. So I mean, eventually will figure out what they like,
they
as
fell
long as
into
you
what
give
they
them the
like.
opportunity and you're not pushing them.
I think if you can keep things as a conversation,
Yeah.
also, like we tried gymnastics with both of our girls. Magnolia loves it. Holly didn't like it. But before we switched to something else, I made her like talk about it every single time she did it. Like, what do you not like about it? Well, I don't like the bars. Why don't you like the bars? I don't like the chalk on my hands.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you talked, like, try talking to the teacher, see like if she knows any tips for making so the chalk doesn't stick as much? Because you seem to like other aspects of this. You just don't like chalk on your hands. I don't know if that's a strong enough reason to quit because you seem to like everything else. So keeping an over conversation with it and hoping your kid, hopefully you give your child enough space to know how they feel and then they can express how they feel, which is a lot of just staying quiet.
Also, listening to them, and sometimes even asking the question of, is this something that you really want to do?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that for baseball. For me personally,
Really?
I did it because I felt like I had to.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I really did not like baseball whatsoever. But basketball was something totally different. But hopefully that's not what's going to happen to Ada. Is feel like she has to do something. But if she feels that way, that she can communicate that.
That's cool.
I think also if you have like, hey, I'm a Braves fan. I've always been a Braves fan. Like, I didn't care about sports until I got to college because I realized that it was a way to connect with like the Midwest and my hometown and where I came from. Also,
Indiana,
you got it. Also, the Colts did win the Super Bowl our freshman year.
That helps, yeah.
So it does help whenever my dad is suddenly very excited about a game. I'm like, why are you excited about this game? Why is everyone around me talking about it? So I didn't care about sports for 19 years, basically. And then suddenly I cared, and I realized it was a way to connect to my dad because he had always loved the Colts. So, like, there's also that aspect to it, too, is just kind of like knowing why you love something and just sticking with it.
Yeah. So we like to do a thing. We should be better about doing it more. Like, this is what it...
That's most parenting.
Most parenting is we should do this more. But we like to do a thing like at the dinner table, like best, worst, silliest.
Yeah.
What's the, it's very big. What's the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? What was the silliest part of your day or whatever? Yeah. But, it, trying to figure out when they do best, why, like, is the best thing just because something was, like, randomly good, or is there a pattern to what the best part of their day is, and is it, and lately for our oldest, it's been, like, art. She really loves her art class.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. So, like, okay, that maybe this is a tip that, like, you actually really do like this thing, and we should lean into it for you and support that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the worst, though.
Yeah.
I don't.
Hey, you seem like you hate this every single time you have to do it.
So maybe we don't need to do it.
Yeah.
She didn't like soccer. We did soccer.
Yeah.
She was not into soccer. She's really into dance now.
Oh, cool.
And my son's too young. He's only 3, so he's done soccer and he's done dance with her too.
Yeah.
And he likes both of them. So now I'm like, do you like these things, or do you just like doing anything? Because he's very active and he's like maybe we just need to try all the things and see where you land. But with her, it was very much like she doesn't like this, but she does like this, and she's older, so she's maybe easier making that distinction too. So all that to say, though, they're also really into like some of the things I'm into, which is super fun.
Yeah.
And I also think that's, that's worth celebrating too. And that's worth like they like watching baseball games with me.
Yeah.
And that might last for another, 4 days, and they might totally check out after that.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Braves don't check out. Hopefully we make
there's still games for you to be excited about.
Yeah, right. We got some playoffs coming up. Hopefully they stick around. But so I don't want to like overdo the like, you don't have to like this. Not
you don't want to hedge your bet too much.
Yeah. I don't want to like because if they are into this thing, whether it be they're also really into music. Like, they know if there's an electric guitar on a thing, that's daddy's music.
Cool.
Like that's what they call it. And she's very much still likes Disney songs, and because honestly the Disney songs are great. Frozen 2 soundtrack is lights out.
Pretty solid.
Moana and Encanto are lights out.
Yes.
They're so good.
They're actually solid. They're actually good.
Yeah. I don't really want to watch them again.
I will always want to watch Encanto. I don't know.
it is really good.
It is genuinely a well done movie.
And I like, this is another rabbit. Frozen 2, I love because it's like really textbook fantasy lore. Like it's like elemental, and it's all anyway.
Just one more note of Disney. Have you noticed since I don't know which movie was the first one that did it, but they no longer have villains really more. All of the journeys are self-discovery journeys. All the story arc has drastically changed.
I've picked up on that because, like, I think Frozen, as I understand it, the villain was originally supposed to be Elsa.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of redid it. Also, the Frozen 1 doesn't really have a great plot. I don't really understand what they're going with it. Frozen 2's got a great plot. I love Frozen 2.
Much more well thought out, yeah.
But, like, Encanto is the grandma, but it's not really, she's not a villain.
No.
It's just navigating the family dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a very actually complex story.
Yeah.
Or even Moana, honestly. It's
Yeah.
about until she realizes that she doesn't need Maui to be able to conquer what she needs to conquer. That's whenever she realizes she can do what she needs to do.
And, Tafiti Lava Monster is not really the bad guy. It's just a misunderstood.
Correct. It's whenever something gets taken from you, what anger does to you.
Yeah.
So no, they've actually gotten they actually have legitimate messaging as opposed to
this is the next podcast
versus hey, here's Sleeping Beauty. What'd she do? I don't know. There's a curse put on her. Now she's asleep. How'd she wake up? Some dude kisses her while she's asleep. I don't think I can do that as a guy. First of all, I don't know if that's the best message to send.
So we got really in, and I think we got really lucky in that Disney Plus became a thing as our kids became came into this world.
Pretty much existed.
So we got way into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all those things. I don't love all of them.
Yeah.
But they still will want to watch those. And they don't they're really good on road trips and airplanes because they just they like these shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right parenting move, but
I think on a car, if you're driving for 3 to 4 hours in a car, some of it is just hey, I just don't want you to scream.
You've got to have something.
Yeah.
That's our tablet rule or whatever is we don't really, we try as hard as we can with this, but they only really do it on trips.
Yeah.
It's it's a privilege thing for a trip.
Yep. That's pretty much what we do. My sister-in-law is an art teacher, so there sometimes we'll FaceTime with her and do one of the drawing apps or something like that, where you can do stuff like that. But it's always it's only intentionality and usually with a timer set.
Yeah,
and a very well communicated. Hey, at 30 minutes, we're gonna do something else.
That's great though.
Yeah, but also unless you set rules, they're gonna be I want more, and you're wait, I didn't tell you there's gonna be an endpoint, and I want more. So
yeah. Starting those endpoints, that's something that I started doing with Ada is saying, all right, we've got 5 more minutes. After 5 minutes, no more. And she's been actually pretty good at that.
The setting setting expectations essentially really, I mean, I game changer is not the right word for it, but
it is though.
It helps.
Well, I mean, I always try to think of whenever I'm trying to communicate something to a kid, if someone did that to me, how would I feel about it? So if I was sitting there playing video games, watching a movie, and someone just came and said, okay, time for bed, and turned it off immediately and then told me to go upstairs, I'd be what the hell is, what are you doing?
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, I'd be that's really rude. What are you doing? So why would I, just because they're 4, that doesn't mean they don't have the same emotions that I have.
You had, I mean, I'm sure Haley has said this to me, but I forgot. But I remember from you telling me about that. And so a lot of times when I would rock Ada or try to rock Ada to sleep, after a certain amount of time, if she wouldn't fall asleep while she's on me, I would put her in bed and she would scream.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember who we were talking to, but you had said it before, so I told her, I was like, all right, we've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, just set a timer for 5 minutes.
And even though she doesn't know what 5 minutes is, she does know that it's sometime down the road.
Yeah.
And it has worked like a charm.
I think it's just setting expectations and communicating, which is what we hope for as adults.
Exactly. And it works on a bunch of, we'll do, they play together really pretty well, but, they share toys and they share things, and sometimes they don't want to share. Yeah. And we're like, okay, well, he's going to get it for 5 more minutes. Yeah. And I don't know if this is for better or for worse. So we use the, Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes, and they know when that timer goes off.
Yeah.
It's okay. And they 80% of the time it works all the time, you know? And we do the same thing with the Alexa timer. We bought a manual timer because we were like, we gotta stop telling Alexa what we're doing, but we still use Alexa. And now our kids know how to do Alexa, so they're like, Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. Like, we didn't say that.
No. Have you learned that Alexa can play? Have they learned Alexa can play music?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite things.
But it's hilarious because like, she's like, Alexa, play "Show Yourself" from Frozen on Spotify, and he's always like, Alexa, play Mr. Roboto.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, hell yeah, buddy.
My brother-in-law taught her. Do you remember the song "Fish Heads" by Dr. Demento?
From
Fish
Ren and
heads,
Stimpy?
Fish heads.
Yummy, yummy fish.
Heads.
Yeah, classic.
So she learned that you can say that to Alexa and it'll play it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not. It's great at the dinner table. Just someone sprinting over to Alexa. Alexa, play Fish Heads, and then it's like, no.
Yeah, I think like between Disney, I maybe this is like Vicky and I's influence on the kids. They like pop music. They like rap. Like at least a lot of the stuff. Like they love that Harry Styles record.
Yeah,
Vicky loves that Harry Styles record. I like that Harry Styles record, but they love it.
Yeah.
And so they're always requesting those things, and I'm like, I don't want to hear this song again. But you know what? That's better than hearing, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme. Because that's what it used to be.
You leave, they might be.
They might be giants. I know it's fantastic, but I don't want to hear that song anymore.
No. Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
And you know what? Kids love hot dogs too, and so
They
we
do.
play that song when we have hot dogs.
Let's just say also they might be giants. Smart move to get into theme songs for TV shows.
I
They
like.
also did Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
So like
okay.
those shows get played endlessly. You get
Yeah.
money every time.
I want to make a kids record just because I think they would be fun,
Yep.
but also because like maybe there's some money there that
There might be.
nobody's
Set for
collecting.
life afterwards.
Maybe if you hit it right.
I want to do like heavy metal kids songs, like do ABC, but it's like double kicks and blast beats.
Here's what I want you to figure out how to do because you're more musically inclined than I am. If you can turn all the pop punk music that we listened to growing up into lullabies and turn those
They've already
into-
done that.
Have they?
They've already done that. Oh yeah,
dang it.
you can get lullaby versions.
I've done lullabies
anything.
of Kanye. I've found those. I
What?
hadn't found it of like Blink-182 yet.
It's
though.
there. You gotta look for it, man.
man.
It's out there.
Because I'm like, there's a total untapped market of people our age who are like, man, if I could just hear what's my age again as a lullaby, I'd put my kid to sleep. To
Yeah.
this.
Especially I watch these shows that they're into, like Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Yeah.
Is all like kind of rock and roll,
It's
like
ska.
Yeah. It's exactly what
It's
it is.
ska.
And I'm like watching those two dudes dressed as pirates
Yeah.
play these, and I'm like, maybe there's something to this.
Have you started watching Spidey and His Friends?
Yes.
You know who does the theme song for that, right?
No.
It's Fall Out Boy.
That
It's
makes-
Patrick Stump.
that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
so like a lot
I
of
get
the-
really mad because the vocal is mixed so low in the first season, but it's not in the second season. There's a that's
Can I tell you my ridiculous audio visual? Okay. So in Encanto, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this. Whenever it does Surface Pressure or the Louisa song, whenever they do the Titanic and the donkeys are playing their stringed instruments, in the audio mix is stringed instruments played out of tune for half a second as the donkeys on the ship are playing it.
That's amazing.
There's an out of tune string section for 2 to 3 seconds whenever the donkeys are on the
That's
Titanic.
so good.
Yeah.
Have you watched Coco?
Yes.
That one's like the best.
Yeah.
But all his hand motions.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually his hand
the
motions.
chord, like those are the right chords.
They are.
He's playing the right chords
Yes.
and the right frets
Yep.
and the right notes.
On Soul, they actually recorded John Baptiste's hands for the video capture.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
on Soul, all of that is actually John Baptiste's hands.
I
playing the piano.
imagine they probably did that with Coco then too.
Probably. Yeah. No, I
That's-
remember watching that first time and being like, that is the correct chord.
Yeah.
That is the correct note. You guys took a lot of work to add this detail that only nerds like me are paying
Yeah.
attention to.
Yeah.
I would have never have known.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but like it matters.
It's like the dumb.
It doesn't matter, but it matters.
It's like
but
the-
dorks like us are like, yeah.
I'm like, oh, street cred in Kanto. Way to make sure that, because those donkeys don't know how to play those stringed
Yeah.
instruments.
yeah.
Thanks for keeping it real in Kanto.
Yeah.
I will believe they can hold the stringed instruments, but they aren't playing it in tune.
Of all the me suspending disbelief in Encanto ends with
Yeah.
donkeys playing guitar.
The donkeys don't know
Not
how
about
to do
listen,
that.
They are not playing that cello correctly. That's
Yeah.
all. They can do a lot, but I don't know if they can do that.
Disney's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you know, like I understand the whole overarching corporate warlord of everything going on is probably not like my favorite thing, but man, they make a pretty good show.
They do make some good entertainment.
Yeah.
Have you ever been with the kids?
Not really. We went when Holly was like 3 months old. Heather's family has like her grandma has a timeshare there, so like every other year you could go and blah blah blah. So we went like when Holly was super young and just haven't gone back since. We want to go back at some point in time, but I feel like a lot of planning, a lot of finances, and a lot of like, all right, let's make sure.
It's
and like, I feel like realistically, once you open that door, they know it might be possible to go back.
Yeah.
And
we put a hard thing on ourselves. It's like, we're not going back until everyone can ride every ride.
There you go.
Because my son, who is bigger than his age, taller for sure, got kicked off Slinky Dog.
Oh.
And I had to like run with him and find ice cream immediately, you know, but I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want you guys to go. Yeah. So like, I'm not going back until everybody can do everything. That at least gives me time to save.
Correct. Yeah.
He got kicked off because he wasn't
not kicked off, but like
couldn't ride it.
He went through the thing and they do the line thing twice, right? They do it at the very beginning, and the guy at the beginning was like, "You're good to go, kid."
Yeah.
And he's so excited, and Toy Story is his favorite. Man. And then we get to the end, and it's a lot of pressure. They're like, "Stand up straight," and he's like,
Yeah.
And they were like, "Sorry, bud, you can't go," and he just like
melted,
fell apart.
Oh man.
So no, I don't want to go back until we can all go.
Also, I feel like if you go to Disney World, you don't go anticipating to say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like you aren't going to go there and be like, no, we can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Because like you're going to hate yourself, first of all, for saying no that many times.
Yeah.
And you're just going to crush dreams. So like if you go, you know, you're going to be like, yeah, here we are.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it all. And of course, you know, like we like, you know, you're walking and like everyone's selling things like plastic things for too much. It was a bubble maker. And
for $30.
Yeah, and on the way up to Slinky Dog, I was like, "No, we're not gonna, like they wanted the things. We're not going to get that." And then he had that situation, and I ran him and found that bubble maker and ice cream as soon as I could. I was like, "Buddy, this is what we sorry,
man.
Here we are.
I'm helping."
It's got to be heartbreaking, man.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good trip. We had good family core memories.
Yeah.
And I would like to not do it again for a few years.
Pretty much. How much energy stuff takes as a parent is something that every single day I feel like I don't have a good grasp on. Like, oh, this took this much energy today? All right, cool.
And I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
And my wife is an introvert. And I am an overcommitter, and I say yes to everything.
Okay.
And she is much more level-headed than I do. Like I can't get out of conversations because I want to just keep hanging out and talking or whatever. And she's much more level-headed, and she's very much, okay, here's what we have. Here's what we can do. Here's what we have bandwidth to do. Here's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so I have to like remember to rein myself in and be like, I think I have energy for all these things, to take our kids to all these things, or to, you know, even if it's just going out to dinner and taking the kids, that's a lot of energy.
It is.
It's a lot. And I was like, I don't want to, except Nectar.
Except Nectar. Full circle.
Yeah, except Nectar. But like,
which I'll see you twice this week.
You will. Probably tomorrow, honestly. But you know, you think you have this energy because you're excited, and you're excited for your kid to be excited. And you get in it, and you're like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And I have to stay up.
Yeah.
Not even like physically stay up late. You're not staying up late. You have to stay in it.
Yeah.
While your kids are, because if you don't, then they're gonna bail out, and then you're gonna have a meltdown. And so the energy conservation is not something I'm good at, but it's definitely real.
Yeah,
it's a real struggle, man. How
do you guys usually wrap?
Wow, what a great segue, Todd.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Look at I'm in showbiz. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's Todd Show. Okay, Todd, how...
You guys are
sometimes
dorks.
I try to do an NPR voice, especially as if it's like a bit, but I couldn't in that moment.
Yes, Devin, will you please tell me when you were developing this podcast, what was your first?
Well, first of all, I meditated on it.
NPR's on constantly in my car, so I don't know.
That's fair. All right, Todd, how we finish our episodes is that we ask the same 5 questions to every guest.
Did you have any backup names for them?
Yes.
Are you willing to?
So with our daughter, it was all family names, and as is the cool trend amongst our generation, it's all like old people names. You know, she has a current old person name. We were going the next in line name was Luella.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever heard Luella before.
That's from my side.
Luella.
And as I understand it, it's like kind of an eccentric great aunt from my side of the family.
That's fun.
And we do, like, you know, you do the genealogy stuff and you're just looking for it. So that was the next name in line. And we literally, like, she was born and we, like, didn't know what we were going to go with.
Really?
And, like, they were like, we got to go out there and tell everybody's family what the name of the kid is. And we were like, oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And then we settled on what we settled on.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's a perfect name for her.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and then my son, let's see, we had a lot of them. My middle name's McFarland, so we're going to go with like Mac.
Okay.
We had another couple like cool names. I literally still have like the name
Do
list.
you really?
That is cool.
That's fun.
For girl and boy, and yeah, like mostly family names. And Vicky's family's from out in Wyoming, so they have like a lot of cool like cowboy names, like Amos and Orville and things like that.
Popcorn companies, basically.
Yeah.
Cookies and popcorn, snacks.
Yeah.
Just snacks.
His nickname is Snacks. He doesn't know it yet, but it is.
Snacks.
So we had a lot of that kind of cool stuff, and so yeah, those were our backups.
Sweet.
Cool.
Next question: who's your favorite TV dad?
I mean, it has to be Dad from Bluey.
Okay.
There's
Bandit?
Bandit. Like, it makes us all look bad.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
I would watch that show if I didn't have kids.
Yeah.
That show's flawless.
It is really good.
Have y'all seen the? I mean, of course you have, but there's the New Year's episode.
Yeah, the
New Year's
hungover one.
Day.
Yeah, the hungover
Yeah,
episode.
we've been like,
so
Mommy,
good.
you were dancing on a table last night. You were awake.
Yes.
Yeah, we love Bluey.
Yeah.
And it's fun because like, Mom and Dad love Bluey. The kids love Bluey.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Bluey, and
yeah.
everybody's invested. It's like something we all have together.
I love that everyone also, every male we've had on is very much like, yeah, Bandit's too high of a standard. Like, we all know we can't be that.
He's
we all
the
know
perfect dad.
Yeah, he's like the ideal. And we're like, no one can be Bandit.
No
like,
one
if anyone thinks they can be, just stop.
But you know what? He's like, I think he's an architect.
Okay. No, he's an archaeologist. Do you know why? He digs up bones.
That's so good.
And do you know what Chili does? She's a TSA person. So she sniffs people. She like sniffs out problems.
That's so good. Like
it is good.
It's buried in there.
It's a dog buried. He's
That-
an archaeologist. Like it's
apparently
like,
there's Easter eggs in Bluey too.
yes.
Like
there are.
I haven't gone that far into it, but apparently there's like you look for like certain character dog things.
In Unicourse, whenever Bluey's at the top of the steps, in the bottom right hand corner, there's a vinyl, and it is Beethoven. So it's a picture of the Beethoven dog
Amazing.
for a Beethoven record.
Oh, dang, man.
I
So
think
good.
they also do a knockoff of a Blur album with like coloration on it and
Cool.
stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of really where I looked at it and I was like, I know this color scheme. That's Blur.
I love
And I was
it.
like, nope, that's okay. That's good. Anyway,
But like with so he's an archaeologist.
yes.
But the trip where he's about to go on a business trip,
Yeah.
he leaves for like 2 months.
Yeah. Curry Quest.
Curry Quest, yeah. And that got me thinking. I was like, man, like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, and also, Bluey just hits on so many levels. Like, well, I don't know what's actually out, but what's on Disney Plus, the last episode is the one where the neighbor's mom and dad like different rugby teams.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, and my wife is a Wyoming Cowboys fan. They played each other last weekend.
Did they really?
And we were like, we have to watch this episode before this game just so everybody understands
Yes.
what's going on.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Next question.
Next
Justin.
question. Least favorite kids show or movie? One that either like you just can't stand, or one that they play so much that you're just like, please stop.
Disney Plus does have they've got really good shows, but they have license to really bad shows. And so there's one called Puppy Dog Pals.
Yep.
I've heard
And
of that
I don't
one.
I don't know if I can cuss on here, but
You can.
that shit sucks. It's so bad.
Do you know who created Puppy Dog Pals?
It's probably someone I love.
Harlan Williams. Do you know who Harlan Williams is?
No.
Do you remember like Half Baked, the guy who was in jail the entire
Yes.
time?
No
the guy
way. The one that killed the horse?
Yes, the one who in Dumb and Dumber drinks a bottle of piss that's supposed to be beer. That's the guy who created that show.
Wow, that checks out.
Yeah. Once I learned that, I was like, oh. And he does the voice of Bob.
That checks out,
Yeah,
too.
and so once I realized that, I was like, I still don't like this show a lot, but like I'm a little bit more okay with it because at least that guy's doing something.
Yeah.
I will say Puppy Dog Pals is better than Super Kitties.
Oh god, Super Kitties is so bad.
That's gonna be my answer. That's the worst one.
Super Kitties.
But like I think that in general, like I like PJ Masks, I like Spidey.
Yeah.
I like generally all those things, but the
Super Kitties is bad.
Super Kitties is real
Super
bad.
Kitties is bad.
And it's not even like, oh, they're not getting a good education from it. I'm like, this is just bad show.
If you're gonna be formulaic, at least be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Puppy Dog Pals, did you ever listen to a band called Two Man Gentleman Band?
I know I didn't listen, but I know that name.
That's what he did. He stopped doing Two Man Gentleman Band, the main guy, and now does like music for Puppy Dog Pals and kid shows. So your future as a kid musician
honestly
might be a real thing.
I really wanted, if anybody's listening and wants to help me be a kid songwriter guy, help me out because I would like to do that.
It's probably really fun.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, he writes songs. I mean, think of the silly songs for Puppy Dog Pals.
Yeah,
he basically writes like knockoff the Cars songs about puppies.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. Just 80s pop songs about puppies
with that Juno
that are a minute
synth line. Yeah,
yep, pretty much.
Well, and I mess around and like I make silly songs for the kids.
Yeah,
just doing it. I was like, I should make money. I don't think.
What if someone was willing to pay me for this?
What if someone would pay me for this stupid song about a hot dog?
But at the same time,
hey man,
maybe.
Yeah,
you never know. Next question: do you have a favorite kids toy? Like whenever the kids play with it, you actually enjoy playing with it also?
I think this is cliche and cheesy, but like my son really likes to go into the front yard and he likes me to throw a baseball to him hitting it with a bat.
Yep.
Like he's got a plastic bat and it's got a wiffle ball and he loves to
tried and
that.
tested.
And he does like is this just what this podcast is? People are just telling silly stories about
basically, and then like being like over like almost amazed by how fun it is.
Yeah.
He
He watches baseball with me and he like knows what the players do and he's a big Ronald Acuna fan. Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Braves, probably one of the best players ever at this point. And he knows when he hits a home run, he bat flips, he rounds the bases, and he does a low five to me, Ron Washington at third base coach, and he hits the plate and he goes and points to the sky.
That
and
is
listen,
awesome.
I did not teach him a single thing of that. He got it from. He also like he's got a batting routine in the box. Like he
Are you serious?
He hits the thing.
He has a rhythm,
and he's got a thing, and he's got a mound routine too. Like
he's got superstition to him.
Yeah, well, he scratches out like there's of course because we live in Nashville, and there's like no one's grass is great. There's like dirt mounds in our yard, and he gets on those and he'll like do his foot and like dig it out. Like and he's getting ready to pitch, and then he's also got like hair down to his shoulders, which is fantastic. And he's in full uniform because I went down to a game and I was like, well, I'm gonna bring the kids stuff because I can't not do this. Yeah. So he's in full uniform, basically, like wiping sweat off his brow, digging the thing, doing his fingers. He didn't know how to throw a pitch, but he's like doing the thing because he's
checking second base, making sure no one's trying to steal.
Yeah, and then he throws it, and he's got a pretty good arm, and I'm just like, I can't believe that you have taught yourself how to do this.
Yeah, that's really fun.
So that's maybe my favorite toy. I also I think like everybody, oldest kind of recently got into Legos. So
Legos are always fun.
Can't deny Legos, man.
I love me some Legos. All right. What moment of your kid's life are you most excited to be a part of? That's a deep one.
Yeah, it's probably a multifaceted answer, but I think
there is no wrong answer.
I think like piggybacking off of that, I think should they decide that they want to get into like playing sports, continuing to play sports, I think I would really enjoy coaching like a little league baseball team.
Yeah.
I don't want to coach into middle school.
No.
But I think I would like to coach at the level when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, where it's more fun and less competition.
Teaching principles and how to run around and have fun.
Yeah, I think baseball specifically, like I would be a terrible basketball coach.
Yeah,
and I, as a former football player, I don't really want my kids to play football either.
Yep.
As 3 concussions later says,
yeah.
But I think baseball would be super fun. But I also think the next level, when they're teenagers and if they don't hate us, I'm excited to see what they're into, like music wise and like culture wise and and connect with them on that. And I don't know, like I feel like you learn so much about a person like by what kind of art they consume.
Pretty much.
As a teenager.
Yeah. And
that's so interesting to me as somebody that consumed a lot of art as a teenager and continues to.
Yeah.
I want to see what makes those brains tick.
I think, it's a good doorway into, there's a reason why a lot of people our age still listen to stuff they listen to whenever they're like 15 or 16, because they still connect with it in some way.
Sure.
And like that is a doorway to know just in some way how someone feels about the world.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like true to how they feel every day or not. But like it's a way to know like, oh, this was something you really cared about at some point in time. And you get to like witness that in real time almost.
And coming into it with maybe a more open mind than our parents had to. And not knocking my parents. My parents were very supportive of like all the heavy metal stuff I was listening to.
Yeah.
But also like coming into it, like if she's listening to something that I'm not into, maybe it's not because she's listening to something that sucks. Maybe it's actually something that I don't understand, and I need to actually try to understand it before I
destroy it.
Yeah. And if it sucks, I'll destroy it. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I think who knows what music sounds like at that point, even,
Yeah.
But if they're into something that's out of the scope of things that I have been into and understand, I think that's a cool opportunity for us as parents to like dig into that and be like, okay, why do you like this? And what's it saying?
Yeah.
And also understanding that like as with like gangsta rap in our era, just because you're listening to gangsta rap doesn't mean you subscribe to all this. This is just what's
so much.
Oh man, no,
I was like straight up Mafia. I don't know.
Man.
I was a straight up G back in the day, man.
Well, I like every single kid our age probably owned the Marshall Mathers LP.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah.
And that's like
that and Stankonia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bone
but okay, but like
Thugs.
Outkast
different,
holds up forever.
Yeah, without question. Yeah.
But like like that, the Marshall Mathers LP. There's like certainly some like classic stuff on there, but it's raunchy.
It's very violent.
Oh, it's very violent.
Very violent.
And like homophobic.
Yes.
And there's a lot going on there. And I own that CD as a high schooler, and I don't think at that time even I represented those things.
No, but you still listened.
But
I still consumed it.
I still consumed it.
Yeah.
So like maybe going into whatever my kids are into at that point, understanding that, well, Todd, back in your day, you weren't exactly the cleanest.
Not so much. I think also our parents didn't stand a chance because whenever they were growing up, their options for music were pretty limited.
Yeah.
Whereas like we grew up in the time of LimeWire and Napster. So like we could listen to whatever we wanted to at any point in time. And so like, parents walk by the room and like, what do you listen to today? Basically. Cause like it could be anything.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they stood a chance.
Napster. That really ages us for sure.
Yeah, it does. Just a little bit.
It's also like, as moving forward, like we're in the age of Spotify and whatever it is. By the time our kids are like at the age they're going to be, getting into that kind of stuff, like access is kind of terrifying.
All right, Todd, that's all we got for you. What? This
was so fun.
Do you want to promote yourself in any way? Do you want to promote like your Instagram? We give this as an opportunity to be like, hey, if you want to follow me or care about me, you can say no.
Nobody likes you can find me on generally any of the things at Todd Ferrell Jr.
Okay.
So
we'll tag you in the post also.
The Instagram, and honestly, like if you hit, I guess, like I have a link tree on my bio. So just find any of those things, and then the link tree is there. And you can find any of the bands that I've played with, and there's any of the socials that I'm on, and terrible commentary that I make on things. And it's all.
And if you care about the Braves, just hit you up.
And if you want to talk baseball, I'm here. If you want to talk baseball or video games where you have a sword, I'm in.
There you go.
He's here for it.
Yeah.
Todd, thank you so much for being on.
This is so much fun, you guys. Thanks for having
Todd.
me.
Thanks, man.
This rules.
Thanks again for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Nashville Dads and to subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify podcast. We record at New Light Podcast Studio and episodes are produced by me, Devin.